There's no such thing as work-life balance. None!
Just fucking do it. Subscribe now.
What makes you a great business coach? Do you think it's the way you teach, or do you think it's what you're teaching?
No. Well, it's two things. I discovered Andrew Carnegie in 1973. I was doing research. I was an analyst on Wall Street. And I realized after looking at 10 or 12 deals, because in the old days, if you came to Merrill Lynch, if you came to a brokerage firm, you asked them to manage the money. They look for the greatest ROIs, greatest returns, with the least amount of risk and the least amount of capital. That was the benchmark that you look for.
Yeah.
That's not the benchmark anymore. And so I was looking for deals, and 7 or 8 deals in a row. They were offshoots of Andrew Carnegie. That he did this from 1885 to 2000 or 1910ish, and they had 3 characteristics. He never used his own money. Okay, he never took on equity partners. Okay, so you can figure out the logic here. The rate of return's all back to him, and he only used sparingly commercial debt, as little as possible. That means he had to use seller finance, which wasn't called that then. It used to be called seller's equity in the old days.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to a bank, I'm telling your listeners now, and you start by saying it's going to be financed by directly or indirectly through your board, if you have one, and seller's equity, that you're put in a separate category. But if you say that you need money, or that this is going to be seller's debt, you're put in a different category. And the bank doesn't care where the money comes from. The bank only cares, or the commercial lending institution only cares that the money's there. So they say, okay, this is a great deal. Who's putting in the equity? How many times have you been asked that? A jillion, right? Well, the seller's putting in the equity. If you don't call it that, and you call it seller's equity, you'll get away with it at least 50% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing that's different.
Yeah.
And nobody teaches that. Nobody teaches that, okay? The next thing that is different is I hold everybody accountable. I don't care if your wife's pregnant. I don't care if your mother just died. One of my superstars is a girl that used to be the controller at Bellagio in Vegas. Good-looking girl, an ex-showgirl. I mean, good-looking. And during the seminar, I didn't know this until after the seminar. She attended the seminar because her boyfriend attended the seminar. And during the seminar, her mother called and said, I saw you on YouTube. And the girl was apparently irate and not too polite to her mother. And her mother had a heart attack on the phone. She comes back into the seminar, finishes the seminar, never tells me anything. I find this out 3 weeks later. 3 weeks later. Okay. That's the kind of sacrifice. That you can fly home to see your mother? I'm not suggesting you do this, audience. I'm just telling you some of the levels of sacrifice some of the kids have made. And she saw her when she got back to America. We have people that are closing deals while their wives pushing out. Push, honey. And especially in Britain, you don't see that. Nobody's willing to make any well, again, exaggeration. Hardly anybody's willing to make any level of sacrifice to that level in Britain or Europe. That's why when I came over here 45 years ago, it was like shooting fish in a barrel or taking candy from a baby.